Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Haynes. I'm an audiobook narrator, and this is.
Jessica Kemery.
And Jessica Kemery is an author who has agreed to participate in the Process Project video series, where I take samples of works by authors and show you how I approach the narration. And then I interview the authors with questions about how they approach the writing process in the first place. It is such an honor to have Jessica with us. Um, Jessica, can you tell us a little bit about the book that I tackled and the series?
Oh, sure, yeah. So, The Ruthless Ring is my new book. It is a dark fantasy. It is written sort of from the anti-hero's standpoint. It's one of the hardest books I've written because it was very technical with like the epic battle scenes. There's a lot of characters going on to keep track of, but I think it's a fabulous arc and people are really going to like the end.
Well, fantastic. And boy, applause to you for really doing your research. There's a lot of workshops that happen in a festival that I'm, or not festival, but a convention that I'll be going to this weekend, Oricon, Oregon Science Fiction Fantasy Convention. And I always just am dazzled by different things that you have to work on and you have to research to be grounded in your world,
Yeah,
even if
it's a
you're
lot.
writing even if you're writing fantasy.
Yeah.
um the thing that I focused on with my narration process for your book was breathing. And as we were talking about before, it's a fairly sort of like, well, that's an exciting part of the process. But when I was asking you about how you handle grammar and sentence structure and all that sort of thing, you had some fun surprises and insights for me. Can you tell me more about how you work with that stuff?
Oh, sure. I think what you're referring to is when I was talking about before I publish a book, I actually listen to it. Once I get it back from the editor and my proofreader, I go through it as a final step and listen to it using text to speech in Word, and it really helps you pick up things where you're like, "Oh, that doesn't like sound quite right" when you actually say it out loud. When you read it on the page, it seems fine, but when you're actually listening to it, you're like, "Ooh, I might want to tweak that sentence just a little bit to more get the essence of what I'm trying to convey."
And when you're doing that, what would you say happens sometimes to the feel of the text or the feel of the series in general? Do you find that it changes?
I don't think it changes too much. I was actually working on the second book in the series earlier today, doing that speech to text or text to speech thing. And sometimes I think I am actually kind of dyslexic. So when I'm writing, words to me in my head sound differently. So when I'm actually listening to them, it's like, oh, that's how it actually sounds. So it you might actually kind of move a period around and make the sentence shorter just
Mhm.
because it sounds better when you're, and then when you go back and read it, it's like, oh yeah, that flows a lot cleaner.
Do you find that it's a pleasure to go over these more minute things? At what point in the process do you do that? Because do you do it as you do your rough draft, or do you do it in the final editing process?
My rough draft is pretty rough.
Yeah.
Um, it is looks. I always say it looks like a clown threw up on it because I'm super dyslexic. So I actually have to go through. I use Pro Writing Aid, go through it once, then I go through it again, and then I send it to my editor. She kind of makes her notes. Then I go through it again. Then I send it to the proofreader, and then it comes back again. So by the time I'm doing the speech to text, I'm actually kind of so done with it. But
Yeah.
I know it's like that last step and it's the final like polish. And then once I do the formatting and upload it, I hope to never actually look at it again. Because
Yeah.
my first book, I tried to edit it myself because I had that hubris, like, oh, I can do it myself, you know?
Mhm.
And I spent hundreds of very painful hours. And then once I kind of learned more about the publishing process, I'm like, I need to get an editor. I need to get a proofreader. I need to get all these people to help me.
Yeah. And it totally makes sense what you're saying about it doesn't change the mood of the book when you've taken it through so much of the process and now you're just fine tuning.
Yeah, it's just like a
So
little tweak.
yeah. and then hoping to never see it again.
Yeah,
Well, I hope that your readers will see it again and want to see it again and again,
yeah,
because of their position within
yeah.
the relationship to the book. What can we know about how to find this book and how to seize it?
Oh, sure. So, of course, The Ruthless Ring is on Amazon. It is in Kindle Unlimited. It will only be on Kindle Unlimited for probably about 6 months, and then it'll appear in Barnes and Nobles and Google Play and Apple Books
Mm,
and all the good places. So, I usually keep it in Kindle Unlimited for a while, and then it kind of moves on in its life cycle and goes off. This is actually my favorite book that I've written.
mm.
So I think just because it was more difficult and I was really invested in the characters. So this is a book, honestly, I think it's like my best work. So
Fantastic. Well, Jessica, thank you so much. And folks, I'll have website links to where you can get more info about the book and where you can grab the book in the description of this video. But in the meantime, my name's Matt Haynes, and I hope that my voice and y'all's ears meet again real soon.